Alright guys, so Fula coming to you with another video. Shout outs to the whole LDBC. Make sure that you like this page, subscribe to this page, and if you want to get notifications, press the bell icon on this page. So man, I just got done watching an interview with Billy Joe Saunders about like his split with Frank Warren and what's to come with him and things of that nature, and you know, him going with Eddie Hearn in the case, in the matter of. Now I found a couple of things kind of interesting in this interview. Number one, he said that, you know, it wasn't about money, it was about Frank Warren not having the roster of fighters at his weight class in order for him to get the fights that he wants, in order to get the meaningful fights, you know. And when we say weight class, I'm gonna venture to say middleweight and super middleweight, and I'm gonna get to that in just a second. Now, the thing is this, I kind of find it strange that he says, oh, they didn't have the fighters in my weight class, when you, like, usually in the UK, when it comes to boxing politics and things like that, there really isn't any like conflicts of interest with fighters fighting each other, you know. I mean, you rarely hear about network problems when UK fighters fight, you know. That's not a problem, you know. So I just kind of found that odd. You also have to look at the fact that, you know, Tyson Fury at the time was a Frank Warren fighter, you know, and they worked with Showtime, you know, for that Deontay Wilder fight. So there wasn't a problem in that matter, you know. So this is why I'm wondering, like, why he's saying that, you know, oh, there's an issue, you know, with fighters, having fighters available to fight. You know, how can you have problems with fighters available to fight when you guys, when UK doesn't really have anything that protrudes in those fights, you know, with one another. Now, one thing I also want to talk about is, you know, he says that he's not in it for the money and whatnot. You know, that's what he said. He said that he's not like really looking for a bag. But, you know, from the opponents in which he named, he's looking for a bag, you know, and that's just it. You know, the opponent, like, the interviewer asked him, like, what order he would want to fight in. And, you know, the first guy he said was Canelo, right? Second guy he said was Triple G. And then the third guy he said was Callum Smith, right? The thing is the first two are definitely money fights. You know, those are the fights which are going to give you the bag that you're looking for. You know, so for him to say, oh, you know, I'm not looking for a money fight, I'm not really looking for a, it's not about the money, the split wasn't about the money. You know, who are you fooling? Everybody and their mom knows it was about the money. You know, and at the end of the day, you just wanted to go where you think you can, you know, go get a bag. But my question is this: what makes you think you're going to get those fights when they aren't even giving fights to the other middleweights over there? You know what I mean? They're not even fighting each other over there, you know? I mean, granted, Canelo did fight Daniel Jacobs, you know, but that was just few and far in between when it comes to these middleweights, man. because at the end of the day, Golovkin fought an unranked guy, and Steve Rose. It's looking as if Canelo is planning on fighting Sergey Kovalev. That looks to be his next target. I don't think Canelo has any intention in fighting a Demetrius Andrade, or for that matter, Triple G. He doesn't want to give Triple G the benefit of the doubt of making money off of him anymore. I think Canelo at this point in time is tired of that, and so this is why he is not fighting Triple G anymore. Now, another thing that needs to be said too is that there's still a dark horse in the room, in which Billy Joe Saunders was kind of reluctant to mention and didn't have the same energy when his name came up, and that's Demetrius Bugatti Andrade. Like he said, he's a good fighter, and this, that, and the other. I think I can beat him and become a 3-time world champion. But he didn't sound so sure about that, He didn't sound sure about that at all. As a matter of fact, he wasn't, the reporter brought up Demetrius Andrade. Billy Joe Saunders never brought up Demetrius Andrade. The thing is that, we all know what happened and the circumstances which entailed that, we didn't see that fight when we were supposed to see that fight. And those circumstances were indeed Billy Joe Saunders popping dirty. They say it was nasal spray, but, everybody knows that if you use nasal spray, you're gonna check the how should I put it, the ingredients inside that nasal spray. If you're fighting overseas, maybe those ingredients pass. Maybe they pass where you are in the UK, but if you're fighting in the United States, it's a whole different ball game. Now, is he guilty? I don't know, but things point to me of him being guilty. But I go on to say this, to say that that's the fight that we need to see. That's the fight that, I think the fans would want to see. Now, I'd rather see that fight at 160 than see it at 168. I believe it would be a more exciting fight at that weight class. I don't, I'm just going to be real. I'm a big time Boo Boo fan. It's always Cape Verde strong for Bugatti, but I don't know if the power will travel to, I don't know if the power is going to travel through that 168, because at 160, he got some respectable power, don't get me wrong. It's respectable. I mean, it makes guys back up, but the thing is at 160, I don't know if it's going to be there, even the respectable power. So I would rather see that fight at 160, him and Billy Joe Saunders. They have unfinished business. Billy Joe Saunders needs to man up, and if he said too in this interview that he would fight anybody at any weight. So if he's willing to fight, someone at 168, if he's willing to fight at 160, then there's nothing getting in the way of this fight. They have the same handlers. They have the same network. They're on the same network now. So there's nothing that's getting in this way. So I want this fight. This fight should happen in October, if possible. The latest it should happen is in November. And that way, people can stop complaining about Demetrius Andrade not fighting anybody. But unfortunately, like Billy Joe Saunders, he gets a pass for not fighting anybody. I mean, his most notable win was David Lemieux, and if you kind of want to include Chris Eubanks Jr., then you can include him as well. But anyhow, this fight, we need to see this fight. There's nothing getting in the way of this fight. As I said, there's unfinished business in this fight. I think Boo Boo Andrade would go to the UK and go ahead and put beats on Billy Joe Saunders there. So venue, it doesn't matter. That way Eddie Hearn and his little conniving, slippery ways, he can just go ahead and just, have his way and get the, and have the venue and everything like that for it. So with that being said, man, this is just a short video, a short reaction video in regards to that Billy Joe Saunders interview that just took place. It was on Fight Hype. And this is what I got on it, man. So they need a fight. There's nothing getting in the way of this fight at all. Because I really doubt if Triple G wants to fight Billy Joe, and I really doubt if Canelo wants to fight Billy Joe. That's just it. But I know someone who definitely would fight him, and that's my guy, Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. And with that being said, Foolish signing out. Leave your thoughts and leave your comments. Andrade.